I am a rat, and this is my world the way it is, not the way you tell it in screams and cartoons, but the way I pad it out with the pads of my feet, the way I measure it with whiskers and teeth, with hunger and a sly, stubborn joy. I'll show you what I see when the lights go low, and the city remembers it has a night. First, the map. My world is tunnels and echoes. It is the cool, threaded dark behind cracked bricks, the rib cage of a sewer pipe, the buttery warmth around restaurant dumpsters, the dry paper cave inside a collapsed box that once held someone's shoes and now holds my cousin's. It is the breath of the city itself, exhaling heat through grates, coughing up crumbs from picnic tables, sweating sugar where the bodega owner dropped a pastry and swore. You measure distance in steps, we measure it in smells. Onion, bleach, grease, old rain, new fear. I know a corner not by its name, but by the way the air changes when I turn it, the way the gasp of wind is funneled into a whistle, the way a cat's musk has faded but not forgiven. We live in a braid. Tunnels to food, to water, to shelter, to home. Home is not a white picket anything. It is flexible. It is a philosophy. Today, home is a nest stitched from shredded coffee filters and a black t-shirt that fell from a balcony like a helpful night. Tomorrow, home might be the hollow, under a pallet, stacked with boxes of something human and important, which means it is also warm and forgetful. Homes move. We move with them. The only fixed coordinates are the ones inside us. Find warmth, avoid light, taste everything once, and twice if you survived the first time. You think of us as a swarm, and sometimes we are that, but we are also individuals with our own ridiculous preferences. I, for instance, like the silence between subway cars, that moment when the drumbeat of the tracks becomes a long hiss and the tunnel lights flicker just enough to make the graffiti blink. My cousin Kettle preferred the hot lip of a pizza box. He could detect oregano at 30 tail lengths. My sister Mint had a taste for the delicate glue at the tip of envelopes. She said it carried a whisper of the sender's mood. And old Mother Clover, who raised most of us, believed in the geometry of crumbs. She said the bigger the crumb, the bigger the trouble. Her rule saved us more than once. We are not born brave. We are born curious. Every brave thing I have done started as curiosity that did not hit a wall. When I was small, first world I knew was warmth and milk and a heartbeat that hammered the same lullaby. The nest smelled like fur and damp cardboard, like the promise of 100,000 other rats who had learned this same tune before me. My father died in a trap before I could remember his face. This is common. We tell our young the truth. The world wants us in pieces or not at all, so keep moving. But we also tell them other truths. The world is generous when it forgets itself, and it forgets itself every night. Night is where we practice our religion, the liturgy of roots. To you, a sidewalk is a blank. To us, it is a tournament of timing. We run along the seam where wall meets ground, because that's where the clues collect. The roasted nut that escaped a paper cone, the grey dust of spilled flour, the greasy edge where a bag leaked its story. Our whiskers read the corridor, each hair a tiny question mark that gets answered by air. A draft means a door, a tremor means a foot, a sudden clean smell means bleach and blotting and no thanks. We have 1,000 small decisions, and one big one, live. Let me show you an alley I love. The bricks sweat. In summer, the man in the white cap throws away his failures. Buns too toasted. Onions that lost their nerve. There is a broken crate that once delivered oranges. It's the kind of place where a cat thinks about becoming a shadow, and a rat becomes a rumor. Here I learned a skill that is the difference between acquaintance and obituary. I learned to wait while wanting. The first time the lid opens, and the smells stampede, garlic, oil, onion, sweet bread singing, it feels like a parade for your hunger. But if you rush, you die. I wait for the second lid, the one you can't see, the door slam, the footsteps fading, the bored voice on a phone, the sound of the broom, that means the broomer is done caring. Then I go, tail to wall, quick hands, precise bites, practical gratitude. I take only what I can carry in my mouth and my chest. Tats. Yes, cats. We admire them the way sailors admire storms, with respect and curses. There is one called Snow, who is not a color, but a philosophy. Quiet, patient, and committed to erasing you with as few movements as possible. Snow has taught me a dozen ways to be small. Once I survived by pretending to be a piece of trash with opinions. Another time I rolled beneath a newspaper as if it were a slow, crinkly wave. We have our own predators underground too. The flood that turns a tunnel into a throat. The broken glass that looks like water that forgot how to lie flat. The glue boards with their sweet whispers. The glue is a story we pass down like a prayer. If your paws say this is too easy, it is too easy. Better to go hungry than to become a lesson. Humans are not one thing to us. You are a spectrum of weather. Some of you are storms. Some are the quiet after. Some are the hand that smacks the floor just to hear how fear echoes. Some of you leave out poison and call it justice and sleep anyway. But some of you do something else. There is a woman in the building with the broken elevator, whose hands smell like soap and grief. She drops a piece of bread on purpose every Thursday. She looks down the hall first as if she's smuggling hope out of her own life. There is a boy who talks to the shadows like they might answer him back. When he laughs, he throws crumbs like confetti. And there is an old man who swears at everything but sings to pigeons, and sometimes, when he drinks, sings to us. His songs are the saddest kind, the kind that remembers hunger by its first name. When I wake, I will run my routes again. I will test the air, count the steps, trust the shadows that have earned it, distrust the ones that look too friendly. I will be what I am, small, clever, many, alive. I will be a rat, and this will be my world, the unglamorous miracle of it, the hazard, and the feast, the 1,000 tiny negotiations that add up to a life. You don't have to like it. You only have to admit it. We are here, not as a mistake, but as a fact. And facts, like rats, persist.